of the kingdom, we're the K-O-K kids. Kids of the kingdom, we are joined the family of God through Christ the Son. We are the K-O-K kids. Kids of the kingdom, we're the K-O-K kids. Kids of the kingdom, we are learning how to worship and praise the Three-in-One. For we're God's kids, and we live where He lives. Yes, we're God's kids, and we're the best there is. He loves us, He trusts us. Hey, we're okay, hey, we're okay, hey, we're okay, hey, we're okay, hey, we're okay.
Hi, boys and girls, and welcome to another Kids of the Kingdom television broadcast. I'd like to give a special welcome to all the children at home. Run along and call your aunties and uncles, your brothers and sisters, your cousins, and tell them that the Kids of the Kingdom are on TV, and they should tune in to this station for another exciting broadcast. Today, we are going to share with you a very educational program, and we have a special guest who will teach us today about a big problem that we have in society, and we would learn how to protect ourselves. But just before we begin, we would like to sing some happy songs. And I know that you're ready to sing. Let's see all those who are ready to sing today. Very good. And today God has blessed you. You have instruments, boys and girls at home. You can grab your recorders and your tambourines, your guitars, your keyboard, table, your drums, and whatever you have, your maracas and your shakers. And we are going to sing songs of praise to Jesus. Our first song will be Apple Red Happiness.
Apple red happiness comes from Chevrolet. Little is energy comes from charity. When you give Christ your life, the benefits of God's great love are super satisfying. Throw away all your sin, get your sunshine in, lying and you see how you get apple red happiness comes from Chevrolet. Little running inside. Benefits energy comes from charity. When you give Christ your life. Every single cell in my body is happy. Every single cell in my body is love. Every single cell in my body is happy. Every single cell in my body is love. Thank you, Lord. I feel so happy. Every single cell in my body is love. Every single cell in my body is happy. Every single cell in my body is love. Thank you, Lord. I feel so happy. Every single cell in my body is love. God in me, God in me. I'm so glad that God in me. God in my fingers, God in my toes, God in my elbows, God in my nose, God in my cheekbones, God in my chin, God in everything that I am in. God in me, God in me. I'm so glad that God in me. God in my fingers, God in my toes, God in my elbows, God in my nose, God in my cheekbones, God in my chin, God in the things that I am in.
And now, boys and girls, it's time to talk to our Heavenly Father. Let us clasp our hands and close our eyes, and Tanika will pray for us.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this wonderful world. Help them children from sexual abuse, Lord. Help us, help my mother, and help everybody. In Jesus' name I pray.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Tanika.
Right now, more than 1 million children could die in the Sahel region of West and Central Africa. Crops have failed in 8 drought-hit countries, leaving families with almost nothing to eat. Children are especially vulnerable when they don't get the nutrition that they need. UNICEF urgently needs your help to buy therapeutic food and medicine to treat the most sick and malnourished children. We can save their lives. Please help right now. I did. Will you? Text food to 864-233 to donate $10 and visit unicefusa.org/Sahel now to learn more.
Today, boys and girls, we are going to talk about protecting ourselves from danger. Now, if you see, sometimes you're walking down the road and there's some danger around, what colors or what warning signs would you see? Anybody know what color? Yes?
Beware of the dogs.
You may see beware of the dogs. That tell us about danger. Yes?
Police notice.
You may see a police notice that says it's danger. Yes? Yes? A do not enter sign.
A stop sign.
A stop sign.
Don't park.
Or don't park. Is there a color that sometimes the police uses to let us know that
Red
there's
and
danger?
green. Red and green.
Sometimes red. All right, most of the times when there's danger, you may see the color red. Sometimes along the road, a truck may have an extended piece of steel or so, and they always have a red flag to let us know that there's danger. So this evening, when there is danger, you have to think quickly. Boys and girls at home, you have to think quickly to protect yourself from danger. And so, I'm going to give the kids of the kingdom right here in studio a thinking activity, because they have to be able to respond whenever danger is approaching. So I'm going to give them a quickie quiz, and my quiz is a rebus, okay? And so I want you to think about somebody in the Bible with a special name. So here's a rebus. A rebus is made of pictures, and the pictures make a word. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to come up with a person's name that's in this rebus. Let's see if you can think of a Bible character. Remember, you have to respond quickly if you're in danger. So I want you to sharpen up your brain and look at the picture carefully and tell me which Bible character this is referring to. Yes. Somebody's name in the Bible. Look carefully.
Noah.
Okay, it looks like an ark. Okay, try again. Look, what's this picture? Okay, in the meantime, all of you at home, see if you can get it quickly before the boys and girls in the studio. Look at it carefully. Yes? Who can get it? Yes.
The A sign.
All right. What do you see here? Think of a disciple of Jesus. What's this?
Peter. Red.
What's this?
Red.
A barn. Uh-huh.
Jordan.
And a bus. Come on, put it together now. Let's go. Barnabas. Excellent. Barnabas. All right, so that was more than 30 seconds, okay? So now we're going to try this again. Okay, so you sit right here. This is an easy one. Who can say?
Matthew.
Okay, this is very easy. Matthew, that was less than 5 seconds. Well done. Good thinking, boys and girls. And I know that if you can think quickly, you can protect yourself from danger.
What would you do if there was a child right in front of you, sitting all alone, crying in pain from hunger, near death from sickness? And what if all you had to do was reach into your pocket and pull out 50 cents to save that child's life? This is that child, and this is that moment. These 2 quarters. It's never been easier to save the life of a child. Go online or call this number and join UNICEF with your $15 monthly gift. It's only 50 cents a day, and it means you'll get these children the critical help they need to survive. Emergency care, nutrition, vaccines, anti-malaria bed nets, delivered every single day of the year to the children who could die without it. That's what your 50 cents a day buys. And at UNICEF, we believe that's what every child deserves. We know you do too. But you have to reach into your pocket and make it happen. Please go online or pick up the phone now, because that child in front of you can't wait another moment.
And now, Denari Nichols will read a scripture reading.
And the Lord shall deliver me from every evil work, and will preserve me unto his heavenly kingdom, to whom be the glory forever and ever. Amen.
Alright, and where is that scripture taken from?
The scripture is taken from 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 18.
Thank you, Denari. Boys and girls, recently I have been reading the newspaper. What do I have in my hand?
Newspaper.
Very well. Do you read the newspaper?
Yes.
Well, sometimes you can read the articles in the paper because a lot of them pertain to you. I have been reading the newspaper, and in recent times there have been a lot of noise in Grenada about people who are hurting little children. They are doing bad things to little children. And I noticed that there were some people marching all over Carriacou and marching in Grenada and St. David's. I saw children with placards saying, "Protect me, don't let anyone hurt me."
Yes,
I saw a placard saying, "Don't force right me," and all sorts.
in St. John's.
And some people passed in St. John's, where Simeon lives, and they asked us to protect the children. And even recently, the government made a special team of people to oversee the protection of children. And they are now going to have a committee to plan how they are going to get rid of all the abusers in the country of Grenada so that our country can be safe again. So today, I have asked a very special lady to join us. She is a counselor at the schools in St. David's. She's a mother and she's a Christian. And today, she is going to share with us and tell us how we can protect ourselves from dangerous people. So let's welcome Mrs. Joseph. Let's give her a big welcome. And today, Miss Joseph, we have lots of questions to ask you. Our boys and girls are here and they want to find out how they can protect themselves from sexual abuse. I noticed in Grenada that has become a big problem this year. And I hope that they are catching the culprits or the people responsible. So, is there anything you'd like to say to begin?
Hi boys and girls,
Hello, Miss Joseph.
and I'm happy to be here with you this evening to share some information with you that will help you to protect yourselves and your friends and your family members, your cousins, against child sexual abuse. So I'm looking forward to your questions.
Who has the first question?
What is child abuse?
Okay, let me just start generally and give you an idea what is child abuse, and then I will go specifically into what is child sexual abuse. So child abuse is when an adult, a parent, or a guardian, through their action, or maybe not their action, causes harm or danger to a child. Okay? Understand?
All right, very well.
So that adult, that parent, through their action or not, they didn't do anything, causes harm or danger to a child.
All right, so now we know that if a child is being harmed, or sometimes you don't do anything about it at all, that is also child abuse. Okay. Anybody has another question? Yes.
Before we go further, let's do child sexual abuse.
Oh, child sexual
Right.
abuse.
So child sexual abuse. Right. Everybody can see here.
Yes.
Child sexual abuse. Let's say it.
Child sexual abuse.
Right. So child sexual abuse is when an adult uses a child for their sexual gratification. Big words. So it's an adult, and that adult uses a child. And a child here is someone under the age of 16. Who is a child?
Someone under the age of 16.
So are you a child?
Are you a child?
Are you a child? Yes. You are all children. And so if an adult uses a child for their sexual benefits, that is considered child sexual abuse. So somebody hold on to this for me. Thank you. Okay, we had another question? Yes.
Are there different types of abuse, or are they all the same?
Very good question. Yes, there are different types of abuse. So we had child sexual abuse, and that is one type of abuse. But you may also have physical abuse. And physical abuse is when the child is being beaten, slapped, punched, kicked, anything that happens to the body, physical. That is physical abuse. You also have emotional abuse, and that is where the child hears bad things or negative things are said to the child. For example, you're ugly, you're stupid, you're dunce. All of that is considered emotional abuse. So we have child sexual abuse, we have physical abuse, we have emotional abuse.
Can you say
So we
that for
have
me?
different types.
Let's hear them. Sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse. That's it? All right, we said them all.
We have physical.
All right, physical abuse. Question 3. Anybody has another question? Yes.
How would I know if someone is abusing me?
All right, great. Another great question. Now I want to go into detail with that question. Now I'm sure that in your school you would have learned about body parts. Have you?
Yes.
Yes. And we all have a body. God created us with a body. Even animals have bodies. Birds have bodies. Fishes have bodies. Sheep has a body. And human beings also have a body. But that body that God has created, He gave us some parts that we call private
body parts.
Right, so some of the parts of our bodies are
Private body
So they are
Private body parts.
very good. Could somebody hold on to this for me? Yes. Good. Now do you know what these private body parts are? Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Yes, Ethan?
Yes.
Penis.
Very well.
Penis, all right,
So
excellent.
the penis is a
Private body part.
And when we say that body part is private, it means that no one should touch it or even see it. Very well. No one should see or touch it. Okay, so could somebody hold on to this one? What's the other private body part? The vagina. Yes. So we have the everybody?
Vagina.
And the vagina is a
Private body part.
and that means no one should
See it.
or
Touch it.
excellent. And the last one, we have the okay, let's say the correct word. We want to say the correct word. So we're gonna say bottom. Can we hear you? Bottom. Right, we have bottom. Yes. And if we look at this, look at my doll here. So I'm going to just look at my doll here. So this doll has a body. Let's imagine, right? And so we have the private body parts. That would be the breast, Here would be the
Vagina.
vagina or penis. And if we turn over, we have
Bottom.
right. And these are the private body parts. And private means that no one should or see. Very good. And even when you go to the beach, do we expose our private body parts when we go to the beach?
No. Not
So
we
we
have
have-
expose our private body parts.
Most people would wear something to cover the breast. And of course they would wear something to cover the vagina, the penis, or the bottom. Yes, so they would wear a bathing suit so that they can cover their private parts. Yes. So the question was, remember the question again?
How will you know if someone
Right. Very right. So let's go back. So we know the private body parts now. And we say that if someone touches or that person sees, no one should see or touch your private body parts. And we can divide that into two parts. We have what we call contact sexual abuse. And I want you to listen very carefully because I want you to really understand this so that you can protect yourselves. So we have contact sexual abuse. And contact sexual abuse means that the person touches, you come in contact with. When you come in contact with something, it means that you touch that thing. So contact sexual abuse occurs when someone touches a child. And if they touch any of the private part of the child, that is considered
sexual abuse.
and it will be contact sexual abuse. Very well. And then we have non-contact sexual abuse. So non-contact means that the person did not touch, but maybe that person undressed, that adult undresses in front of you, so you're looking at the nakedness of that adult. Or maybe they show you pornography. And pornography refers to adult films, adult movies, movies especially for adults. It's not for children, but adults can look at it if they choose to. So if an adult shows a child pornographic movies, that can also be considered non-contact sexual abuse. Also, if that person allow the child to view or to hear adults being engaged in sexual activity, that too is considered as child sexual abuse. It is non-contact. Nobody is touching, but you are exposed to things that you should not be exposed to. You understand? Yes. Right. So it falls into two categories. Contact, where you are touched in the private areas, or it can be non-contact, where you are not touched, but you are shown things that you're not supposed to see. You see adults naked, or someone might be looking at you. Someone looking at you. Okay, boys and girls?
How would you feel if somebody is looking at you and you're undressed? How would you feel? What's the word for that? You would feel? Give me a word. Uncomfortable, yes? You would feel a word beginning with E.
Ashamed.
You would feel ashamed or
Embarrassed.
embarrassed. Very well. So once someone is making you feel uncomfortable, now if you're undressed by your mom, you may not feel uncomfortable because that's your mom. But if you find someone is making you feel uncomfortable or embarrassed when you came from the bathroom, suppose I'm coming out of the bathroom and my towel, how should I wear my towel to come out of the bathroom?
Okay, now most children would wear a towel around them. And in some situations that could be okay. For example, if you use an inside bathroom, you can come from the bathroom quickly and you go into your bedroom and change your clothes with a towel around you. But let's suppose you're using an outside bathroom, because there are some children that use an outside bathroom and you have to walk from that outside bathroom to get into your house a little distance. It'd probably be more appropriate if you get yourself half dressed in the bathroom before leaving and walking into your house.
Thank you very much. Now, in recent time, there has been an increase in sexual abuse in the media. Are they all true? Are really true that, so many people out there are hurting children?
I don't know if it's all true, but what I do know is that if a child comes to me and say, I am being sexually abused or I'm being touched in my private area by someone, then I would believe that child.
Okay.
And I prefer to believe that child, and maybe it's not true, than not to believe and then it is true. Because I believe it is our responsibility to protect our children.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Joseph. Anybody has another question? Question 4? Yes?
What
Damar?
does an abuser look like?
Can you repeat that question, please?
What does an abuser look like?
What does an abuser look like?
Anyone can be an abuser. There is no specific look for an abuser. There is this myth that an abuser is a stranger, someone that probably would grab you off the street and do something to you. But most of the times, children are abused by persons that they know and persons that they trust. For example, it might be their uncle,
Tanika.
it might be their father.
What does an abuser look like?
Okay, an abuser can be anyone, any race, any color, can be male or it can be female. And there is this myth that an abuser is a stranger, someone who would grab you off the street and touch your private area. But most children are abused by persons that they know and trust. For example, it might be a father, it could be their uncle, it could be a stepfather, or maybe even a neighbor. So it is someone that they know and someone that they trust as well. So there is no specific look for an abuser. And abusers come from every economic status. So they can be very poor, they can be very rich, they can be educated, or maybe even uneducated. So there is no specific look for someone who is an abuser. An abuser can be anyone.
Thank you. Does anybody have another question? Yes?
How can children protect themselves from sexual abuse?
Very well. Now, there are a number of things that a child can do to protect him or herself from sexual abuse. And you live in a family, not so?
Yes.
And some of you live with your daddies, some don't. Some may even live with a stepdaddy. So, and it's okay for your daddy to hug you, because a hug is a good touch, and we like hugs. A kiss on the cheek or maybe on the forehead is also a good touch. A high five is also a good touch. And having to mingle and interact with your parents is very good. But we have to be careful when you do that. So for example, let's suppose you want to sit on your dad. Is it okay to sit on your dad?
Yes, I would
Yes,
think
it
so.
is.
Yes.
Yes, but we want to make sure that when you sit on your dad, you sit in a way that your private part, remember those private parts we talked about earlier? Yes, we want to make sure that your private part does not come in contact with the person's private part. So for example, if you're going to sit on your dad, so this is your dad, let's imagine I'm your dad, and you're going to sit on your dad, you sit on your dad like this. Can you see, boys and girls?
Yes.
So imagine this is you, and you're going to sit on your dad, so you sit on your dad, your legs this
Together,
way,
the legs are
together, yes,
Put on your dress.
and down like this, right?
Sit and pelt
So
one
this
leg
is-
off
so you
onto
don't-
the other side.
Right? We don't want you to sit like this.
All right.
All right?
Mhm.
So you sit, put your legs together, and you sit across your dad's lap. And you don't sit up here, but you sit closer to the
his knee.
knees. You're going to sit closer to the knees. So that's one way to ensure, yes, you can sit with your dad and enjoy and spend time with your dad, but you have to know how you're going to sit on your dad. Okay? Now, there are older children, not as young as you, who they have to wash dishes and they have to be in the kitchen helping. And sometimes you may have persons in the home, while they're standing in front of the kitchen, they're in the kitchen sink washing the dishes, right? They're washing the dishes. And someone may pass and rub their private part against the bottom. Is the bottom a private area?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. So these are things that you need to be aware of. So if you're in the kitchen, and for the older children, those of you listening to the program, you have to be aware that even if you're in the kitchen, it's not okay for someone to pass and rub against your bottom while you're there in the kitchen. Or maybe pass and they pass their hands across your breast. Okay? So these are things that you need to be aware of.
Or across the penis.
Or the private area, the penis or the vagina. Okay? All right, boys and girls?
Thank you. Okay, do we have another question? Yes?
Only us could touch in private parts. not
Very
people
good.
else.
Thank you. Can you say that again?
Only we can touch in private parts, not people else.
All right. That's very good.
Except your mother bathing you.
Except mommy is bathing.
Yes,
Thank
and
you.
when your mom is bathing you, she's not touching you. There's a difference. Mom is not touching you. She is washing you. And that's a big difference. Someone washing your private area because you are small and you're not able to do it properly is not the same as someone touching your private area for their own sexual satisfaction. So it is quite different.
Thank you. Let's have a few more questions. Yes, Leo?
If a suspect someone is abusing me, what should I do?
Okay, now if you suspect someone is abusing you, this is what you have to do.
All
Let's
right.
read it.
All right, boys and girls, let's read.
it.
All right.
Until someone believes you.
Again.
Tell until someone believes you.
Excellent. So if you think that someone is abusing you, remember we talked about the private parts? Yes, Leo? We spoke about the private parts. So if someone is touching your private parts, we have that to be contact sexual abuse. Or if someone is making you look at pornography, adult movies, someone is looking at you while you're having a shower, that would be non-contact sexual abuse. So if you notice that those things are happening, then you need to tell
Until someone believes you.
Right, and sometimes, boys and girls, you may choose a trusted adult to tell. So for example, who can be a trusted adult?
Mommy?
Your mother, yes, excellent. Your dad, your brother, the police, your teachers, your grandmother,
Or somebody
excellent.
like you, a counselor.
And of course,
Yes.
your aunt, and of
Yes.
course we have yes, and of course we have counselors at the schools, both at the primary and at the secondary school level. So if you think or you suspect that you are being abused, then you can speak to your counselor at your school as well.
Thank you very much. Let's have
And the principal.
and the
Yes.
principal. Okay, let's have just a few more questions. Nathaniel?
What is a bad touch?
Okay, so remember we spoke about those private parts?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
So if anyone touches you in any of those private parts, that can be considered a bad touch.
Yes.
And a bad touch usually makes you feel uncomfortable. It makes you feel yucky on the inside. You don't feel good. So that gives you an idea that this touch wasn't a good touch.
Thank you. Yes?
As example, they're doing it rough.
Say it again.
As example, as they're putting their hand in rough
Put in their hand where?
in your private part. Rough.
So if that is happening, then that can be considered child sexual abuse. And in that case, what do you need to do?
Everybody?
Until someone believes you.
Yes.
Do we have one more question? Rashida?
Should I be afraid of going to the public bathroom?
Yes,
Very-
sometimes you go to town. That's a good question.
Yes.
And you just want to use the bathroom in town. And you're so frightened. Yes.
Yes, that's a very good question, Rashida. And yes, you can use a public bathroom, but you must be aware of your surrounding. So for example, if you go into the public bathroom, you must be aware of who else is around in that private bathroom. Is there in that public bathroom? Is there someone looking close by, looking to see? For example, if you go to the public bathroom and there is a male standing close to the female bathroom, you must be aware, take note that there is a male standing there. When you get into the bathroom and you go into it, make sure that you lock that door behind you so that you make sure that you are safe and then no one is peeping you while you conduct your private affairs. But it's okay and it is safe to use a private bathroom. Just be a public bathroom. Just be aware of your surrounding.
That's right.
What if you forget how to unlock it?
Just knock on it. Someone will tell you what to do. Bang on it.
And it seems like we have exhausted all the questions. Anybody has one more question? That's it? We've got all the questions in. Yes?
How would you be aware if someone's near?
How would you be aware
If someone's near.
if someone's near?
Observation. So you have to observe. You know, sometimes children tend to be carefree, and that's part of being a child, that you're being carefree, but you must also pay attention to your surroundings. You have to be attentive.
Be
as well.
aware of if you see anybody who is
Not
standing
in the street.
outside. If it was your mom, your brother, your uncle, look to see who is standing nearby at all times. If somebody's wearing a red jersey or a yellow jersey, you know, because recently somebody snatched somebody's purse, but they weren't aware of what color clothes the person was wearing. So they couldn't give a proper report because they couldn't remember what clothes the person was wearing. So you must be aware of your surrounding. Okay? Yes. One more, last question.
What if your mom or your dad don't believe in you from the sexual abuse?
Okay, remember, you tell until someone believes you. So if you tell your mom or your dad and they didn't believe, maybe you can tell your grandma. If grandma doesn't believe, maybe you can tell your teacher, or maybe you can tell the counselor at your school.
Thank you.
Or the principal.
Or the
That's
principal.
right. So that's it, Miss Joseph. Did you have a last word for us?
Okay, I just wanted to mention one other thing. You know, sometimes we think of child sexual abuse as just between adults and children under the age of 16. But we can also have abuse occurring between children of school age under the age of 16. So for example, if you're in KG and an older boy, maybe in grade 6, touches you, that can also be considered as child abuse. However, we would term it inappropriate behavior, and as such, we would have to counsel both students, both the KG students and the grade 6 students. So these are things that you need to be aware of as well. And even among your peers, so your friends, persons around the same age with you, they are not supposed to see or touch your private body part as well. Do we understand, boys and girls?
Yes, we do.
Yes, so because that will be considered an
Inappropriate
behavior.
Right.
Yes, so we do not want you to touch anybody else's private part or anybody around your age touching your private part as well.
Thank you.
Okay?
I learned a lot this evening, and now I know that you can go out and keep yourself safe from sexual abuse. And boys and girls at home, I hope that you will remember all that you learned this evening so that you can be safe. And right now, just before we come to the end, we have a little activity that we want to do with you so that you can remember what you learned this afternoon. So we're going to start. So Miss Joseph has an activity first. All right. So what do you have to do? You have to stand up. You have to stand up.
Wait, no, hold on a while. Let me just finish it. Okay, boys and girls, before we do the activity, let us do one reminder. And this one says,
It's my body and I have a right to be safe.
come, let's say it with some power.
It's my body and I have a right to be safe.
Again,
It's my body and I have a right to be safe.
very well. Now, we want to review what we learned today.
Holding my breath, the whole world will wait.
holding my breath, reaching up to take me, holding my breath. The whole world awaits me, holding my breath, reaching up to take me. The whole world awaits me. You take my breath away. You
want to review what we learned today, and I gave us some paper earlier. Okay, boys and girls, we are going to review what we learned today. And we learned that we have private body parts, and those private body parts are penis,
Vagina,
sorry,
bottom, and breast.
let's go. When the rest up, we're going to say it, okay? So let's move on. So those private body parts are
Penis,
bottom, vagina, and breast. We also learned today that we have child sexual abuse, and child sexual abuse can be contact sexual abuse, or it can be non-contact sexual abuse. And if you suspect or you think that you or maybe a friend is being sexually abused, what should you do?
Tell until someone believes you.
And finally, it is
My body, and I have a right to be safe.
Thank you very much, boys and girls. Thank you, boys and girls, for listening and participating today. And we want to thank you, boys and girls at home. We hope that you have learned something today. Thank you.
And now it's time for us to say goodbye from
The Kids of the Kingdom and the GIS. Kids of the Kingdom.